I like to tell the story of unseen things above. I also like to tell stories about what happened during the day. Now, as a number of you have been wanting to find out, how did Paul's job interview go today? Well, he left the house at 8 o'clock because of the traffic to get down to the south end of Columbus, uh, which was a very wise decision. Now, he did get there, but it took him a little over an hour to get down there. That's not unusual for this time of day in Columbus, coming from this area and going to the south end of town. And and where's just I will violate my own narrative rules and say, now I know why people drink liquor. After sort of trying to elicit this story from him when he got home, just around, he got home, let's see, he got home a little after 3 o'clock. Now, I felt like the woman on Frasier that said, when they're making out heavily, and she says, "No, when you talk about wine, I want to kill myself." Now I know why people drink liquor. If Paul doesn't get this job, there's a job waiting for him as a professional witness because he'd drive anybody trying to cross-examine him up the wall. After, it's probably the better part of 40 minutes of talking, trying to elicit this straight. If I just said, look, you're just going to have to humor me and give me a straight line story, omitting nothing. Well, that almost did it, but I'd had a certain sort of, I'd had certain milestones scattered about like random pebbles on a path before that. It seems that what happened is he went in to the place where he was going to have this interview, and there were 3 other candidates. Now, whether they were looking for 4 people or just going to hire one of the 4, who knows? And essentially, it was just a matter of going in, and I don't know whether they maybe filled out a little preliminary form, and then they were sent off for a drug test. And so this happened. They were sort of dispatched for this drug test around sometime around 10:20. All this thing started at 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, the drug test was down in Grove City, which is probably it's probably around 10 miles south of. Well, it's not. Well, it's now almost part of Columbus, but effectively it's 10 miles south of where he was. And it's one of these contract labs, you go in, you give a urine sample, they test for drugs, and then they report back to whoever's paying them to, test for drugs. And, Paul couldn't, urinate. He couldn't produce urine for them. So he's drinking water and drinking water and drinking water and drinking water. And every now and again, I guess he tried 3 times, he said. You understand, I didn't get this the first time through all this. I got it probably around the 6th or 7th time through this little tale of woe and lament. And so then it was time for these young women in this lab to go to work or go to lunch. So They lock the door, say he's going to have to wait till they get back, which he does. They get back at a little after 1. But they don't clock in till 1:30. And they weren't going to give him another cup or a cup to go in and try to urinate again till 1:30. Meanwhile, he really has to urinate. He says, look, I'll go, just let me, you can wait, I'll go urinate. You can fill out the paperwork after, here, you can, see this, here's the urine, you'll see the urine and I'll be glad to sit and wait while you. No, I can't do that. Can't do that. It's the policy and procedure mentality. So meanwhile, then Paul pisses his pants. I told you had to go. Told you I had to go. So, of course, then he couldn't. I don't know, I'm trying to squeeze the urine out of these pants or something. So he goes back to the interview place because, the guy said, go down, give the urine, and then just you can scamper off back home. He says, and then, when we get the results of the test, then we'll call you with further information. So, after Paul pissed his pants, then he drove back to the original site of the interview and told the guy, I don't know whether he told the guy he pissed his pants or not, but I couldn't get that specific. There's some specifics. I'm sure there's a lot of specifics out there I didn't get in this tale. And I did say, I said, did you show him your pants? He says, no, I had my coat on. I don't know, that could have been a double-edged sword, maybe. I don't know. So the guy says, well, he explained. He says, I couldn't urinate. He says, and Paul said, because you had to get a separate form because the woman tore up the original form that the HR guy or the interview guy had given him to take to the contract lab. He says, I need a new form. Oh, I can't do that. I have to call HR to see what they say about that. Because obviously what they're thinking is that, this guy is on drugs. He didn't want to give a sample. He'll wait till he can get, a time after he stopped taking drugs, and then he'll have a clean sample. I mean, that's what they're thinking, obviously. Obviously they're very much barking up the wrong tree on that one, but that's what they're thinking. That's how these things work. And so the fellow says, I'll call HR, and when they make a decision, I'll call you. And finally the guy said he's going to call tomorrow morning, most likely. It took me a while to get that little bit of information out of him. So, we'll wait and see what this guy says to me. I mean, they may just say, screw it, we don't want to take, there's no point horsing around anymore with this guy. We just don't want to deal with him anymore. Or they may say, we'll give him a second opportunity. Here's a man that drinks 6 Diet Cokes each morning. 6 Diet Cokes each morning when he gets up. And he was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And couldn't urinate down there at this lab. Yeah, okay. So, we're waiting till tomorrow morning to get, whether the process continues or that's like dead end, try again somewhere else. So that's where it stands now. But I said to him, you'd be a perfect witness in a criminal case for either side because you never volunteer anything. You never volunteer anything. You never give details. You never go in a straight line. You give a conclusion first before you offer maybe one detail that might be halfway through the story. I said, you're like my ex-wife. My ex-wife would do that. That's exactly how she would discuss things. Dragging information out of her in a straight line was like just trying to build a brick road with one finger. It's just like, And I said, now, that's what I said to him. Now I know why people drink liquor. So that's what happened today. So that was the major story from today. So bye-bye, YouTubers. Here, 1600 Eastern Time, April 19th, Tuesday, 2016.